All right, welcome to video 3 in our curation series, all about the homework. Well, if you end up doing our homework, it means you have been accepted into a CodeLaunch cohort. If that's you, congratulations. Why the homework? I've mentioned that a little bit, but we're going to dive in deeper here. So what we're doing is gamifying best practices for early stage tech founders that we know investors look for and that helps their venture accelerate, gain traction, and raise. We are also going to try to equalize the whole cohort. So as I mentioned, some of you are going to be here, some of you are going to be here, and some of you are at the very beginning of your venture journey, and we need to get everybody up to a kind of an equal level fast as we can. So you're going to have about a week or so from the point you become a cohort member to submit your homework. Hopefully you're watching this video way before that moment, because it will give you time to already pre-execute the homework. A perfect startup founder in CodeLaunch will have started this as soon as they watch the video and already be preparing their homework to submit well before even others have even applied. What we're really trying to do is help you check boxes we know investors are looking for, even if you think you have everything figured out. And we want everyone who applies and gets accepted to get something out of CodeLaunch. So we know that putting you through some of these paces is going to help you. And it's also possibly going to help you fail fast and give up on this venture idea, which is important. If you cannot prove to yourself that your product vision has a market fit, it's time to pivot, or it's time to give up and do something else. And the faster you figure that out, the better for you, potential investors, all the time and money you could potentially spend on something that's never going to work. You want to find that out as fast as you can. So the homework takes some time, energy, and hustle. We know that. We're hoping that you saw this video and you have more time than just 7 to 10 days. Know your homework due date. It's on the event page for the event that you've applied for. We evaluate all the homework the next business day after, or maybe business days after the deadline. So we're not going to have time, in most cases, to call you and say, hey, you forgot the homework. Did you mean to send it and just forgot? Sometimes we do that for groups that we really, really are interested in. I hope that we have so many that we're interested in that submit homework that we just ignore everybody who doesn't submit homework. And we will assume that something got in the way. It's not the right time anymore. Maybe the product market fit exercises prove to you that you have a lot more work to do before you're ready for this, or that you just need to change your mind. Whatever it is, we want to proceed with people that have had time to put some effort into this homework. Now, I have standard office hours on our Discord community. You can find that on our website. We promote it on our social from time to time. I'm not going to tell you when it is right now, because there's a chance that you can be watching this video a year or 2 years from now and it's changed. But we are going to try to support our communities on our Discord server, CodeLaunch Community Discord server, for some time during the week. And that's when you can dive in and you can get help with this homework. You can get help from us then anytime during the CodeLaunch competition cycle, anytime after you've been a finalist and you're down the road 2 years. If you need help because you're about to sell your startup for millions of dollars, you can call me. You can call on me for that. We're going to be there to help you. It's one of our goals is to be engaged with our startup founders before, during, and after their CodeLaunch experience and trying to help them through their journey. There are podcast episodes where we take live questions from startup founders who are going through their homework preparation journey. asking common questions that startup founders have that maybe these videos don't answer. I would recommend that you go look at our list. Look at the We Code You Launch podcast. Look at the description. There'll be some where we're supporting different competition cohorts with homework. Listen to those. They're not very long, usually 45 minutes or so. Maybe your question will be answered. If you go back in time too far, you may hear facts that aren't relevant anymore. So maybe, look in the last year. We plan to do those from time to time in the future. You can go look at the homework submission form. So you're definitely going to have that on your event page. It's going to show you the files you're going to need to upload and the questions you're going to need to answer, so you can start trying to prepare a process to fill those out. You can pre-write them so that when it's time to submit, you're just copy paste, upload file, submit. Next, we are going to break down the 4 levels of the homework. Some of you are at level 4. Others of you may be at 0 or in between. We want you to submit your homework even if you get to level 1. We're still going to look at that and consider your concept, consider your video, everything else, and we may put you in the semifinals. If you are already at 4, you just need to document the efforts and prove to us that you are at level 4. You don't really have to do much besides spend the time documenting it. So let's get right into it with level 1. You need a website and a domain with your logo and at least a landing page talking about your vision and saying that you're coming soon. You at least need that. Wix is a great resource for quick and easy websites, cheap. Fiverr, Fiverr, is a great resource for offshore resources, people to get those Wix sites launched with your domain. Even better if there's a contact form on it and that you have email working on your domain, and a way for people that land on your website to contact you. Maybe you have a rich, complex website with all the bells and whistles. That's fine too. What we hope to have is a group of finalists who all have a website. Like, you want to be on stage you're going against 5 other finalists, and all 5 of them have an awesome website and a logo and a way to contact them, talking about their product and their vision, and you're the only one that doesn't, right? We won't look good at the event, and neither will you. All right, level 2. Your venture needs social media. That means a common and uniform social media ID that represents your brand that's available on the platforms. Now, hopefully you don't end up like CodeLaunch. We have at CodeLaunch on everything we can think of, but we couldn't get it on LinkedIn because there's a squatter in the UK who is using our trademarked CodeLaunch. That's not us. It's a software development guy that works out of his house. And we've offered him to switch and give him the alternative that we use, or asked him to switch to CodeLaunch-UK. He's not interested. We will probably pursue that as time goes on, eventually make a deal. I hope to. Hopefully you don't end up like that. Some of you may discover that your brand that you thought you had is already used by someone else, and it may require you to rethink your brand ID, your logo, and everything. We're sorry if that's you. At this point, it's probably doesn't really require that. You could just add a dash Texas or a dash something, or add something to the ID that gets you around the fact that someone else is using yours. It could be for a different purpose. And you can settle that later, down the road. If you already have this and if you're watching this soon enough, it would be perfect if you are able to post your cohort acceptance challenge video on your venture branded social media. If you do that, and if you've had to create all this at once by being a cohort competitor, that social media is probably not going to have very many followers. So it's not going to reach anybody. If that's you, you've created a brand new social media ID and you want to post your cohort acceptance video on your @CoolStartup, I understand why that would be desired. But you're going to need you and your team to log in as yourselves, the people, go find that post that your startup has posted and share it with your community to reach people. Don't forget that step. Step 2 of level 2, you need to join our CodeLaunch community Discord server. Our podcasts are interactive via our Discord server usually. Office hours where you get support from CodeLaunch with challenges you may be facing as part of a leader of a venture, early stage venture. You can engage with us there and get our support, and also connect with your other cohort members and the greater community of CodeLaunch founders, since we have been requiring all of our CodeLaunch competitors to do this for a couple of years now. There's a big community of people, that not just us, that are still in there. And it's a great way to interact with us down the road, way after your CodeLaunch journey. We also want you to subscribe and follow our podcasts so that our followers grow and that you get notified when we post a new podcast. And of course, follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X, and anything else that we end up adding to our collection of social media and digital communications platforms. So if you've completed level 1 and level 2, your digital marketing is looking sharp. It's looking good. Level 3, we're going to get a little harder now. This is dependent upon which type of startup you are. Maybe you're B2C, maybe you're B2B, or one of the other many complicated letter variants. Doesn't really matter. We need you to prove to us and go through some customer and client product market fit exercises. So we're going to give you the very basic, easy way to do that. You can level this up from our suggestions to any other more thorough effort. You could even say, hey, I've already got clients and I've got some revenue and I don't need to do this because people are paying for it. That's all the validation that we need. I would agree with you. So you can document that for us, and that would be what you would submit in your homework. So we have had groups do this process and decide, I don't think the feedback I'm getting is eliciting confidence that I should continue. I may need to pivot. We've had other groups do this and pivot and then come back to another CodeLaunch, and it's the same person. We recognize their name, but now they have a different startup vision, slightly different because they pivoted, or completely different because they just totally threw one in the trash. We've even had groups do this and realize that the groups they've interviewed and met with and who filled out their surveys and forms have revealed to them there's an entirely different product they need to build. And then sometimes they will just go off on their journey that direction and never come back. Other times they will apply again. There's a group in our history called Endora. They applied, participated, or exhibited at something like 10 CodeLaunch events before they finally made the stage. And then when they made the stage, they made the world championship. And then when they made the world championship, they surprised everyone and won 2 out of 3 monetary awards. Super cool. Took them like 3-4 years for that process to evolve. So we want you to identify your ICP. That stands for Ideal Customer Profile. That could be a consumer, it could be a business. Whatever it is, you should be able to write it, describe it, and identify what it is. Once you know that, let's say you're B2C, and we want to see that you have taken efforts to ask people to review your concept and give you their feedback, including a link to maybe Google Forms that you created, a link to posts where you outreach to people. Maybe you start a Discord community server for yourself and get people to join it. Maybe you start a LinkedIn group, a Facebook group. There's lots of ways to do this, and you should be asking people to meet with you, look at your product. Maybe your product is just mock-ups. Maybe you have a working proof of concept. Like I said earlier, maybe you've done all this in the past. You just need to go capture the data that you captured then and upload it to us and prove to us that you did it. Because we're going to ask for the results and the tools that you used to conduct product market fit exercises with potential clients or potential consumer users. If you're B2B, I'm going to offer you a trick, and that is to identify people, maybe even people you don't know, but they seem to be people that would potentially choose to evaluate and buy and use your product. Don't ask them to buy and use your product. Instead, say, hey, I'm a early stage founder of this venture. We hope to release it into a market that we think that you would be an ideal candidate to use it. Would you be willing to meet with us virtually for 30 minutes just to look at us and give us feedback? So we build a perfect launch 1.0 product. And if you will do that, we will give you free access to our beta period. Or maybe we will give you free access to our beta and 1 year to use it after we launch without any cost. And in this process, you could be successful in having those meetings. You document who they were with. They give you feedback. You implement the feedback and use it to shape the product and shape the MVP. What are the 3 bells and whistles this sucker needs right away? And what are the things we can leave for the product roadmap down the road? I'm going to tell you a story about Moto Clerk from the year 2000. Moto Clerk was from Florida. They had a product that targeted businesses that are independently owned and commonly around where they lived in Florida and everywhere else. And they literally got into their car and they made a map and they drove for days up and down the coast of Florida, stopping in every one of these places face to face, cold, uninvited, and walked in and said, hey, we're building a product that would help your business. If you'll take 30 minutes, we'll give you some benefit. Would you give us some feedback? And they got 25 or so signed letters of intent, non-binding in any way, but just saying that I am so-and-so at this business. This type of business would benefit from this product, and we intend to be a free beta tester for it when it comes out. And what they did in the process is built a small community email list of potential buyers down the road. And it was a great amount of effort and a great outcome. And of course, they made the finals at CodeLaunch 2000 in DFW. Okay, level 4. You've got your digital marketing all squared away. You've got a website. You've got product market fit exercises, data, and the tools you use documented. The results of it have given you confidence to continue in this venture, and you're even more enthused potentially. Or you did all this years ago before you got to CodeLaunch. At least in some way or form, you've done all that. Now let's talk about your team. Level 4 is all about your team. Do you have multiple team members whose strengths are in different areas of business and execution? If you don't, it is a best practice that you find those team members team members that believe in you and your vision and can add the power of parallel execution in different roles. You cannot do everything. Investors are not high on solopreneurs. You can't be a product developer, tester, designer, business executive, sales, operations. You can't do all those things. Not at the speed. Maybe you can, but you can't do them at the same time. And you need people doing things at the same time in parallel. So if you are a solopreneur, we don't consider you to have achieved level 4. If you don't have time to solve this problem, you can document the efforts that you went to, the challenges that you have faced, and that you need further assistance to overcome them, and a plan that you will undertake to overcome them. We will consider that. Ultimately, a technology-based tech startup is going to at least need a person who is overseeing and hands-in product development, and a person to run the vision of the business. So if you're one and you don't have the other, or you're the other and you don't have the one, I encourage you to try to recruit and find that person. You may need to go to meetups. You may need to go to networking events. You may need to be down at the Chamber of Commerce, standing up for 30 seconds and telling people about this problem. You may need to use your social media we made you create. You may need to add that to the video we asked you to create, right? A little blurb in there. If you're interested in joining our team, let me know. So these are all efforts you can take to grow and fill your team with people that can execute multiple roles in parallel. One of the things that you get to do if you become a finalist and you end up in a hackathon with the professional team that's trying to accelerate your digital product development, one of the things is you're going to get to embed your developer on that team, adding an additional person who's already an expert potentially in the product that you may already have, and the stack and the tools that you may already depend on. And that helps those developers immensely. And it helps get more work done on your product in the hackathon. Well, you can't do that if you are a CEO, business development, and sales type, and your developers are just moonlighters or Fiverr devs or people far away, or people that work for a vendor, B2B vendor you've hired to build this product. Venture investors, early stage, will put an X on you if you don't have hands in the code, internal core team expertise in your product. It's going to limit your ability to raise. And that is a proven, widely known fact. There's other VCs that will tell you. There was an article I saw recently that said 5 things that will automatically make me say no when you ask for a pitch meeting. And one of them was this. No one on the team is hands in the code, deep level expert. So you may need a developer, or it may be the opposite. You are the developer, the product visionary. You've been building it with other people's help, but you need a business expert. Sometimes a business expert is a person who's been there and done that and adds credibility with investors to the potential success of your venture. So after all that, you're going to submit your homework. You're going to document which level you think you're at. You're going to provide us the details. In this case, you're going to document your team and the roles they play. And after you submit, the next thing you need to do is remember and note the semifinalist reveal date. Because after we watch all the homework, we are going to send semifinalist contracts to all those we are inviting to become semifinalists. The ones that execute the contract, we will get a pitch meeting, and we will reveal to them and everybody else who they are. And you have about 48 hours to turn that semifinalist agreement back to us so that we can seat you in hopefully one of your preferred pitch date and times. that is all about the homework. Good luck.